Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Brandon Lawrence here at Local 5. This video live stream coming to you just after noon on Tuesday. Today is February 21st, and we are getting ready for another winter storm. This time, though, the big impacts will be over northern Iowa and especially to the north of our state in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Dakotas. So I'm going to walk you through this. It's a complex system and setup, and we'll try to make sense of it together so that you and your family are prepared and know what to expect. For some areas of Iowa, this will be no big deal at all. We're talking south of I-80. This is going to be a very minimal impact event. There will be some rain, but that's about all. For northern Iowa, though, this will be different. So here is the setup right now. Today, it's obviously a little bit cooler. Tonight, we're expecting snow across Minnesota and Wisconsin. This may clip the extreme northern part of Iowa. However, most of Iowa is going to stay dry overnight tonight. There may be a little bit of drizzle and freezing drizzle tomorrow morning. However, I don't think we will see any big weather moving in, any significant weather until lunchtime and the afternoon on Wednesday. Here is what it will look like around 3 o'clock on Wednesday. We're going to have rain across the southern and southeastern parts of Iowa. To the north of that, we will have freezing rain mixing with rain and occasional sleet, and at that time, snow will be underway in far northern Iowa. Once the system itself gets closer to Iowa, this big area of low pressure, the precipitation will get a little bit heavier, a little bit more widespread, but it'll also be drawing in colder air, and this will be tomorrow night, which means the rain that we see over parts of central Iowa is going to change over to that wintry mix, and then the snow will be getting heavier at that time in northwestern and northern Iowa. So that's sort of the setup we are dealing with, and I'll guide you through it hour by hour with Futurecast in just a couple of minutes. Here's what we've got in terms of warnings, advisories right now. Everybody from I-80 to the south is warning and advisory free. That includes Des Moines. We have no warnings and no advisories, and right now I don't anticipate that we will get any. To the north of Des Moines, though, that's where we do have some warnings and advisories. In northern and northwestern Iowa, the pink area, that's a winter storm warning. There's actually 2 counties in far northwest Iowa, the northwesternmost counties, if you will. Those 2 are under a blizzard warning, and then we've got a winter weather advisory south of that. And that winter weather advisory is mostly what we will be focused on. That includes Marshalltown, Tama, Ames, Boone, Jefferson, Carroll, Fort Dodge, Webster City, Iowa Falls, Eldora, Hampton, Clarion, Belmont. It'll include Humboldt, and it will also include Sac City, and say Manson and Rockwell City. So that's a lot of areas that will be included in that advisory. There is that winter storm warning north of there. That'll include counties like Kossuth, Winnebago, Worth, Cerro Gordo, Emmett County, Palo Alto County. Those areas are under the winter storm warning. So what's the difference? Advisory, some impacts. Warning, bigger impacts. Easy way to understand it. Today we don't have any problems. It's chilly, but that's about all. There will be a little light snow near the Minnesota-Iowa border. Tomorrow is when we expect the majority of our weather to happen. Wednesday is the day for most of the weather to occur in Iowa. This will start as just rain in southern Iowa, and then we will have ice and sleet developing north of Des Moines with snow far north. I would say travel tomorrow will be fair. It's not going to be super bad, and it's not going to be overly icy until later at night when that ice develops north of Des Moines. So right now, Wednesday, I would say it's fair. Not the best, but certainly not the worst. On Thursday morning, that's when I expect the worst travel conditions, and I really expect that the problem spots will be north of Des Moines. In the metro, we may have some slick roads Thursday morning, but I don't think it's going to be a major ice for us. So snow will be ending in northern Iowa Thursday morning. Travel is not great there, especially because the wind will be strengthening and temperatures will be going backwards. They'll be falling. And keep in mind, even in areas where we have rain and just plain old rain, if there is still standing water, that may freeze a little bit. Now, on the plus side, the benefit of strong wind is it can dry the roads quite a bit faster, so I'm hoping that that won't be too problematic for us. In northern Iowa, right now, there is a bit of snow falling. This is sort of an initial wave, and that snow is on a line from Waterloo to the Minnesota border. I don't think this is going to turn into anything heavy. An inch or two north of Highway 20 today. Pretty minimal impact snow event today there. And then, of course, the bigger one will come tomorrow. This is wave one of this system, and it's coming across Iowa and Minnesota. This will drop about 3 to 7 inches of snow near the Twin Cities later today, even into southern Minnesota. So this is just the initial part of the storm system that comes. All right, so today itself, pretty mild. Not too many issues. I know it's been pretty cold this morning. We're still going to warm up because the sun is going to come out this afternoon some. The wind is shifting and coming from the southeast as opposed to the north. However, eastern, northeastern Iowa going to stay on the colder side today. And then tomorrow is when we, of course, get those impacts. The temperatures drop a little bit as well. All right, this is the all-important Futurecast, and I'll go through this and try to really make sense of what to expect. So I've got it starting. Pay attention to the time in the top left corner there at 8 o'clock on Wednesday morning. At that time, I don't think we're going to have a whole lot across Iowa. We may have a little bit of drizzle, maybe a little freezing drizzle in parts of the state, and the wind will be increasing. It'll be windy in the morning, and it will be cloudy as well. But we're not going to see any significant rain or snow or ice in the morning on Wednesday. Once we get to lunchtime, we will start to see this developing. It's going to start over eastern and southeastern Iowa, still windy, and rain will be likely along and south of I-80, where we have the green, plain old rain. There may be enough energy in the afternoon to produce a few rumbles of thunder in southeast Iowa. To the north of that, just north of I-80 and north of the Des Moines Metro, we are going to have that mix beginning. So what do we mean when we say mix? We may see a little bit of sleet, but what I really think this pink will be is rain that is falling and temperatures that will be at 31, 32, and so therefore it will lightly start to freeze on roadways, bridges, overpasses, surfaces. I don't think that it will turn very icy in the afternoon, but it will gradually go downhill throughout the day. By 3 o'clock tomorrow, I think we will see most of the rain still in southeast Iowa, and then we will see ice potential to the north and northwest of Des Moines, also to the northeast. So Highway 30 at that time is dealing with some of that freezing rain. And the lower the temperature, the more likely we will see impactful ice. So if Ames is at 26 or 27 degrees, then it's going to be more impactful. 32 degrees with some wind will keep the impacts a little more minimal because it will take longer for that ice to develop on roads. For Des Moines at that time in the afternoon, we are going to be on the line. I think we will see mainly rain. I think our temperature will be just warm enough, and it will not change over to a mix here until later tomorrow night. So this is around 8 to 8:30 Wednesday night. Still the same type setup. Rain to the south, it'll be scattered. Ice potential to the north with freezing rain, occasionally mixing with sleet, and then the snow will be getting going in northern and northwestern Iowa at that same time. Going into the middle of the night, Thursday, 1 a.m., still dealing with a little bit of freezing rain to the north of I-80. We may get a little bit in Des Moines. It's all going to be dependent on temperatures. And then snow will be underway by that time west of here, and it will continue for areas northwest of Des Moines and northern Iowa while we're sleeping. By 6 o'clock Thursday morning, I think most of us will be dry. However, the impacts won't be over because we will have the icy roads, we will have some areas that have some snow coverage, and then the wind will be switching directions, coming from the west, strengthening, and then it will be really windy heading into Thursday afternoon, dry Thursday afternoon, and cloudy. And that wind with falling temperatures will not really help us travel-wise. So tomorrow the high is 38. If we get to 37, 38, we're in good shape in Des Moines when it comes to the rainfall. But by tomorrow night into early Thursday morning, temperatures do fall below freezing. So if we have any leftover rain, it could freeze on contact, create a little bit of ice. Thursday morning, we start the day at 29 degrees and then we fall throughout the day. So it is a tricky setup if you can gather that right now. Here's what I'm thinking when it comes to ice potential. I think we could see the greatest risk for icing north and east of Des Moines. So this is going to include Dubuque, Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, Grinnell. In our area, Tama and Toledo, Marshalltown, Ames, Eldora, Grundy Center. Those are the areas that I expect we will see the worst ice conditions, and that's because the rain will be heavier there and temperatures will be colder. It's not going to warm up as much there, and the rain will be heavier. So we could see in some of these areas a 1/10 up to 2/10 of an inch of ice, maybe as high as 3/10 of an inch of ice in Waterloo, and over towards Dubuque, a 1/4 inch of ice or more. For central Iowa, we will not be getting quite as much rain and our temperatures will be just a little warmer. I still think we could have a bit of ice in Des Moines. Less than a 1/10 will be possible. About a 1/10 up to 2/10 in Ames. So we're talking some ice problems on roadways, bridges, overpasses, and even a little bit on power lines as well north of Des Moines. The ice potential west of here and northwest of here is lower, but we still could see a little bit of icing over western Iowa. Carroll, Fort Dodge could also be near a 1/10 of an inch of ice. This is not really a snow event for central Iowa. We may get a little bit, but it's not a big snowstorm. A dusting at most in Des Moines. That's even on the high end. Truthfully, we may get a couple of flakes and be done. Less than 1 inch of snow in Ames. Then we will have higher snow totals the farther north you go. Right now, I think Fort Dodge and Highway 20 winds up in that 1 to 4 inch range. Fort Dodge about 2 to 4 inches. Then you go farther north and the totals will be higher, closest to the Minnesota border. Algona, Spencer, you're looking at a minimum, I would say, of 4 inches. The ceiling is probably about 12 inches in your area. I don't know that you will get quite to a foot. Kind of depends on how long the snow sticks around early on Thursday morning. But I would say a minimum of 4, possibly higher. Humboldt is in an interesting location. So are places like Clarion, Belmont. These are communities that will see several inches of snow. So keep that in mind. It's going to be snowy northern Iowa tomorrow night into Thursday. Here's a timeline for Des Moines. I spent a lot of time this morning building this graphic to try to explain it the best that I can. I've got it broken down into time: 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 2 p.m., 4 p.m., 6 p.m., 8 p.m., 10 p.m. I've got you covered through the entire day on Wednesday. I think our temperatures will be just above 32, which means for the most part, this will be just rain. Notice I've got it highlighted in green. Then by 8 o'clock tomorrow night is when I'll start watching for a mix, and that's because temperatures are a little more uncertain at that time. Will they fall below 32? Or will we stay at 33, 34, and that will ultimately make the decision or make the determination on what we see. I don't want to sleep on the fact that this is a big snowstorm in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and South Dakota. I've been stressing, if you've got travel plans up to the north of Iowa, tomorrow, Thursday, even into Friday, reschedule. I don't say that often, but you don't want to be going into this. We're going to have, through central and southern Minnesota, at least a foot to a foot and a half of snow. That is between now and Thursday night. Twin Cities area could be close to 20 inches of snow, and there will be isolated spots that receive 2 feet of snow there. This is going to be a big snowstorm with extreme impacts. It's not just Minnesota. Sioux Falls, South Dakota gets hit. Wisconsin gets hit. We're talking Eau Claire, La Crosse, Wausau, Green Bay, all getting hit with heavy snow. It will be snowing in southern Wisconsin, but it's going to be a little more manageable there. Chicago and Illinois, if you're headed that way, ice potential in Illinois and Chicago. Probably not much snow there, but there will be icing and there will be wind there. Same thing for the Quad Cities. If you're headed west to Omaha by chance, you will probably encounter a little bit of snow and freezing drizzle, but I don't expect the impacts in the Omaha area to be overly widespread. That's a lot. There's a lot of information with this storm system and a lot to get through. I do want to go through the Futurecast timeline one more time and then we will wrap it up. So we're going to start 8 o'clock on Wednesday morning, because I think what's been lost in all of this is the timing and what time all of this is going to happen. And the reality is it's going to last for about I'd say the window is about 24 hours wide. So Wednesday is the day when almost all of this occurs. Early on Wednesday, we will be looking for patchy freezing drizzle, patchy drizzle, and nothing more. It will be cloudy and windy. Can't rule out a couple of slick spots first thing tomorrow morning, especially north of Des Moines, but I think most of this will hold off until at least lunchtime on Wednesday. All right, watch how this evolves. Pay attention to the time there in the top left. So this is paused at noon. We have rain from Des Moines over to Newton and Grinnell and to the south. Just plain old rain. There may be enough energy in the afternoon to produce a little bit of thunder, a little bit of lightning down there in southern Iowa. North of Des Moines, north of I-80, it starts to become freezing rain. Now, I don't think that impacts will initially be an issue because temperatures will be a little bit closer to 32. When we are at 31, 32, ice takes a lot longer for it to form on the roadways. It can happen, but it takes longer. And especially with the wind, that will try to limit some of the impacts. But I do believe we will already have freezing rain forming north of Des Moines by lunchtime tomorrow. Through the afternoon, that freezing rain becomes a bit more widespread. Keep in mind, freezing rain is just rain that freezes on contact. That is important for you to know. It's just plain old rain, but if temperatures are at or below 32 on the ground, it freezes when it gets here. So this is paused at 3 o'clock on Wednesday. Rain is likely southeast of Des Moines at that time still. Des Moines will be probably in the rain zone. I think we will be just warm enough. By 8 to 8:30 tomorrow night, colder air will be building in from the north, and of course we also lose the daytime heating, so to speak. As the sun goes down, it gets colder. We will see rain changing over to a bit of freezing drizzle and freezing rain in central Iowa, still freezing rain north of here, and then snow will be underway far to our north and northwest. Then by the middle of the night, I've got it paused 1 a.m. Thursday, so after midnight tomorrow night, freezing rain still ongoing north of Des Moines, and then snow begins to take over in western Iowa up into northwestern and northern Iowa. Notice that we get a little burst of heavy snow northwest of Des Moines through sunrise on Thursday. Now I have it paused at 6 a.m. Thursday. Snow will be moving north and the entire system will be lifting out of here. And what that means is the rain, the freezing rain, the snow is done by sunrise Thursday. However, it'll be icy on the roads. There will be some areas digging out from a little bit of snow, and then this strong west wind will be taking over. Mainly cloudy during the day Thursday, but that wind will come through, and that's going to send our temperatures going way down. So when you see the high here for Thursday marked at 29 degrees, that's early in the morning. It's going to rapidly drop. We will be down to 6 degrees Friday morning or lower in many areas. So the biggest impacts are going to be from ice, and that's going to be north of Des Moines. And I'll show you the ice map one more time, and then I'll wrap up here. less than 1/10 of an inch in Des Moines. That's about a glazing. Enough ice to make you slow down for sure, but not so much for us to classify it as an ice storm. Not quite that level in Des Moines, thankfully. We are going to have more significant icing, though, east and northeast of Des Moines. 1/10 up to 2/10 of an inch in Ames, maybe a 1/4 inch in Marshalltown, Tama, Toledo, Grundy Center, Eldora. Some higher ice totals possible from Grinnell to Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, and Dubuque. Reason for that zone being the highest ice accretion, we call it accretion, not accumulation, but it's basically accumulation, is because we will have heavier rain and then we will have colder temperatures in that part of the state. And so the colder it is, the heavier the rain, the more significant the ice. With that being said, I know it's a lot of information. I know it's a lot to get to, and a lot of people are just saying, well, we'll just wait and see what happens. Just be prepared for travel impacts on the Wednesday evening commute if you live north of Des Moines, if you live anywhere in Des Moines or north of here, or west or east, due west, due east. Watch for trouble spots Thursday morning. Travel will be difficult Thursday morning along US Highway 30 and along US Highway 20. Farther north of that, we will have snow, and of course that will be difficult to navigate through as well. So the biggest impacted commute, or the most affected commute, is Thursday morning. Wednesday evening, a little dicey north of Des Moines. Most impacted commute, Thursday morning. With that, I'm going to wrap up the live stream here. We'll keep some of our graphics going for you for a little bit this afternoon. Keep in mind our team is covering this and every winter weather event from all angles. We're constantly evaluating data and trying to fine-tune and give you the best information that we possibly can. You can always check us out at weareiowa.com. You can go into your Google Play Store or Apple Store and download the We Are Iowa app totally free. You can get good weather information there, interactive radar, which may be very useful tomorrow, and of course an hour-by-hour forecast that's customized for your area. And then where else can you see us? Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you name it, we are there on OTT. We call it OTT. What that means is We Are Iowa Plus. Download it if you have a Roku or Amazon Fire Stick or TV. All right, it's almost 12:30. I'm going to head out. Be safe, have a great day, and I'll be here first thing tomorrow morning to track this wintry weather as it moves in. Chief Meteorologist Brad Edwards coming up later tonight at 5, 6, 9, and 10. Have a great day, everybody.